So I'm here with Ryan Scarpino. Did I pronounce correctly?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, Ryan Scarpino. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So we're here on the I Love Kelowna podcast. Ryan is a tattoo artist with Dynamic Tattoo Studio, and you're on Bernard.
Yep, 273 Bernard. We're right across from Kelly O'Brien's on the second level, above Bai Tong, the Thai food restaurant.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you grew up on Vancouver Island, and you've been in Kelowna for a while. When did you come here?
Yeah, I grew up in Nanaimo, and I lived there till I was about 20 years old, 21 years old. I moved to Nelson for about 6.5, 7 years, where my son was born. And then I kept coming down here and hanging out with friends that I'd met in Kelowna every other weekend. And then I just, decided I wanted to live down here. And away it went. I've been here for about 13 years now.
Right. So, any regrets moving here?
No, I love Kelowna, and I can't see myself living here anywhere else. I've been around the world, and every time I come back, I really appreciate where I live.
Do you ever go back to Nelson?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my son's grandfather still lives there, and he has family, actually, and my fiance's family are all from Nelson as well.
Right. Yeah. It's a great place, really great. So I think it's a little better to do business here.
Mm-hmm. Most better. There's a lot of opportunity here in Kelowna. Kelowna is becoming like a hub city for British Columbia, and it's not too far from Vancouver. And we have an international airport here, and so there's a lot of things that are accessible here in Kelowna.
Right. Your tattoos, do you do them yourself, or do you get someone else to do them?
I've done a few when I first started. Nothing I'm proud of, but I collect.
Right.
I get to do conventions all in different parts of the world, all over the place, and every once in a while I'll decide to get a tattoo instead of tattooing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you have some favorites? Some favorite artists?
Yeah, I got tons of favorite artists. Anybody who puts out a nice, solid tattoo, I'm a fan of. To be honest with you, there's a fine line between really, really good and mediocre.
Right.
And I just appreciate the art as a whole.
So you've always been an artist.
Yep.
Even before you could speak English, you were drawing things.
Yeah, pretty much. I always loved art. I was always drawing, and I even as a little kid I drew on my sister's face and.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what did you draw?
I think it was probably just a bunch of scribbles and stuff like that, as far as I remember. But
did you get in trouble?
I definitely got in trouble. And back then, trouble was trouble.
Yeah, right. Definitely. And so you probably knew from a very young age you were going to be an artist of some kind.
I knew I loved art. There was a lot of signs in my life that pointed me in direction of art. Like even when I was a teenager, I did a native sweat lodge where I got my native name, which was Yeetsum. It means abalone shell, a man of many colors to be shared with everybody. And I had no idea that I was going to become a tattoo artist at that time. Right. And then I've had like lots of other kind of signs in my life that pointed me in the direction of becoming a tattoo artist and stuff like that. But I painted graffiti for a long time, since I was probably 12, 13 years old, painting graffiti, doing murals and stuff like that, painting trains. Right. And that developed into hanging out with tattooed people, being around tattooed shops, and then I got the opportunity to learn how to tattoo, and so I took it. Right.
When you were doing graffiti, was this authorized, or?
No, I got in a lot of trouble painting stuff that I wasn't supposed to, and being a little hoodlum when I was younger and stuff. And, I actually got into quite a bit of trouble as a teenager growing up, and I didn't really have much of a direction in my life. I recorded and performed hip-hop music, which kind of kept me out of a lot of trouble, but at the same time, it seemed to follow me around. So when I became an adult, I still got into trouble a couple of times, but then when my son was born, it changed my life completely. And I had a reason for everything I did, and I had to be a role model for him. So I changed my life completely, and then tattooing came into my life, and it pretty much saved everything for me.
Right. Yeah. Did you ever paint something and get caught, and the person said, "I actually like it. Thanks for doing that"?
Actually, I remember one time that we got caught painting graffiti downtown Vancouver, and we got in trouble, and that was actually part of our punishment, was that we actually had to go and paint some murals for the city of Vancouver in certain like high graffiti areas where it was just like crappy tags and like stuff that didn't really look good. So they actually, part of our punishment was that we had to paint these murals for them.
Wow. How did that make you feel when you heard that?
It made me feel good because, if it wasn't that, it would probably have gone to juvenile detention or something like that, or had to pay some huge fines and stuff. And it actually started a movement in Vancouver, which was great, where, a lot of graffiti guys were getting hired to do murals on highly defaced property, because a lot of the younger graffiti writers, they won't come and tag that stuff if there's a nice painting or a mural and stuff like that on there.
Yeah. And would you say that was one of the turning points in your life? Like you talked about having your son, but when you got this punishment that they actually wanted you to complete something on a building, did that change your mindset a little bit? Like, actually, I can do this with a purpose.
Yeah, it made me realize that there was actually, I could actually do something with it. And, I may even make a little bit of money. And then sometimes we'd go out and we'd offer companies, an X amount of dollars, we'll come and paint your thing. You have to supply the paint and stuff, which was great for us because we'd do the mural and then we'd have all this leftover paint too. So we'd be able to go and paint our own stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, graffiti was it's a different type of culture. There's different parts of the culture of hip hop, and graffiti is one of them. And it's all art forms.
Right.
Yeah.
Mostly happens at night, I'm guessing, like when people are asleep.
Yeah, mostly. It's nice to paint during the daytime, then we can see what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
if it was not necessarily a legal wall that we're painting, then yes, nighttime would be a good time to go and paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not suggesting anyone who goes and does that.
Right. What, you spent a lot of time with tattoo artists. When did it start to dawn on you that that's what you wanted to do? Was it when you got the apprenticeship?
Yeah. After my son was born, was in 2006. I was still living in Nelson at the time, and I was traveling back and forth here, hanging out with friends, and then I ended up moving here about 2 years after my son was born, and I ordered a tattoo machine off of eBay, which I didn't know at the time was kind of a taboo type thing to do.
Really?
Especially tattoo, just because they're not very well made. They're not the best products to be using to tattoo people and stuff like that.
I see.
And they're just basically crap. They're made in China, and they're very well made, and they don't do a very good job of what you're supposed to do. But at that time, it was a motivational purchase. I bought it. I got the machine in the mail. I went straight home and tattooed myself. And then I started talking with some friends, telling them about my purchase and stuff. And then one of my friends was like, "Hey, I know this guy named Jeremy Popov, and he's looking for an apprentice." So I took my art portfolio over to the shop, had an interview with him, and he asked me if I had any tattoo machines. And I said, "Yes, here they are." And I pulled them out of the bag and I showed him my machines, and he grabbed them and threw them in the garbage.
Really?
He goes, "You're not using this crap here." I'm like, "Okay." So
that's when you realized that it was crap.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know about how a machine works at all, even. So even if I was to use those machines and something was to happen, if they get out of tune or something like that, I wouldn't have known anything at all to fix them. But he threw them in the garbage, and then we ordered some better machines and stuff like that. And he took me under his wing, and I apprenticed for about 1.5 years, scrubbing tubes, cleaning the shop, learning how to tattoo.
Yeah.
Studied a book called The Secrets of the Tattoo Machine, which kind of taught me a little bit more about how to tune my own machines. And back then it was a little bit different because we were using conventional tattoo machines that use an electromagnetic current, which draws the armature bar down and drives the needle, which gives you the puncture of the skin and puts ink in the skin.
Right.
Nowadays, a lot of artists are moving over to using a rotary machine, which works a lot differently, and you don't have to be so on top of tuning it and making sure it's running properly.
Interesting. So, do you think that young people should try to find someone who can mentor them?
Most definitely.
It's a huge thing, right?
There's the right way, and then there's the wrong way of going about anything that you want to learn in your life. People don't. You don't learn something unless you learn something from a professional. Unless a professional teaches you. You could read books and you could watch videos and stuff like that. Unless you have an actual professional that's giving you secrets and teaching you the things that he learned over the 20 years that he's been tattooing, then that's who the guy you want to learn from. But buying a machine and just going out and tattooing at your house, a non-sterile area, that kind of stuff, then, you're not taking it seriously, especially when it comes time to get an actual job tattooing.
Right.
If you go and you're looking for a job and you're like, well, I actually taught myself and I've been tattooing in my basement for the last 2 years, and
It's not great.
Yeah, no, that's not a good sign. Whereas if you were to walk into a studio looking for a job, you're like, hey, I apprenticed under so-and-so. I've been tattooing for 3.5 years. Here's my solid portfolio.
Yeah.
Here's my drawings. This is what I have to offer. You're more than likely to get a job.
Yeah. And I know, like, I have 3 teenagers in this house, and a lot of times it's hard to get them to do things. Mm-hmm. But what would you say is the advantage of scrubbing the equipment and doing a lot of the more tedious tasks as an apprentice?
One of the most important parts of being a tattoo artist is sterilization, cleanliness, making sure that there's everything is top-notch clean, because there's bloodborne pathogens, there's things and diseases and sicknesses that can be passed on from people to people.
Right.
And we want to make sure that that never happens. We want to break that chain of infection.
Right.
You know what I mean? And being an apprentice and scrubbing tubes and cleaning the shop and stuff like that is basically how you learn about that stuff before you tattoo.
Right.
And you're doing an amazing job of sterilizing your area, you're cleaning tubes properly, your machines are clean, how they're running, everything, and now you're ready to tattoo someone.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get him to agree to mentor you?
I guess I just showed him my artwork and stuff, and he liked me as a person.
Right.
I still to this day have a relationship with the guy that taught me how to tattoo, and which is, probably not the same thing for a lot of artists. I feel like a lot of artists will do their apprenticeship, and then something might happen, a falling out might happen, and they don't talk to the people that taught them. I pay respect to the guy that taught me how to tattoo, because I have no idea where I would be right now in my life if it wasn't for that opportunity he gave me.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Right. So I would say being willing to learn, do tedious tasks, and being respectful, and get a person to like you is a good way to get a mentor.
It is, yeah, and persistence.
Yeah.
They might say no the first time you walk into this door. They might say no the second time. They might say no the third time too. Mm-hmm. But if you keep showing up, not being a pest, but if you keep showing up and you keep, taking whatever advice they might give you to make it happen, and you take that literally and you go and you do something about it and you come back every time and you've actually done what they've asked you, they see that kind of stuff, and that shows initiative. And, in this industry, you need that kind of initiative.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Now, you've attended 100 tattoo conventions all around the world. Mm-hmm. What are some of the interesting countries you've been to? I'm assuming Canada and the United States, of course, but
yes,
other countries.
I mean, there's no place like home, that's for sure. We live in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. But I rather enjoy traveling to Central and South America. I've been to Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. I love those places. They have a really, really rich art culture in all those countries.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of fun to hang out with, and it's warm, which is a nice place to go during the winter.
Right.
Yeah. But I think the best tattoo show that I've ever done was in Evian, France. It was a great show. We showed up though at first, and this is a dead town.
Really? It's quiet.
It's quiet. Like everything shuts down at 4 p.m.
Wow.
Like taxis don't even drive after like 5:30 p.m., 6 o'clock. Yeah. We had no idea. I'm like getting there, I'm like sweating. I'm like, it cost us a lot of money to get out here. I really hope that we do well. As soon as those doors opened up to that convention, I couldn't believe it. Thousands of people coming through, like driving in from Geneva, Switzerland, which is just like right there, maybe a half an hour drive away.
Wow.
And like from all over the place. And yeah, we did really good. Made a lot of money that weekend, did some cool tattoos, and had a great time. The organizers treated us like gold. And, Friday you get there, you kind of meet a few people. You make a couple of friends, and you're kind of wondering who everyone else is. And then Saturday night, you meet a couple more people, but then Saturday night after the show, they have an open bar, free alcohol for all artists.
Nice.
So, you get a few drinks in you, and next thing you know, we're all best friends by the end of the weekend.
Right.
Sunday comes around at the end of it, and everybody knows each other. We had a great time Saturday night, and it was an awesome show. Something I'll remember for the rest of my life, actually.
So it was a show like all the artists have tables,
Yep.
and then there's people selling equipment, I guess?
Yep, just like a normal trade show where, artists will come and present themselves, promote themselves, do some live tattooing. Some people like to book clients before shows, bring them in so they're ready, prepared. They're doing bigger pieces. Some people like to not book anything and talk to the people and show them their work and maybe book a walk-in at the show or something like that.
How about you? Which do you prefer?
I prefer to be prepared.
Right.
Plan.
So you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like to do bigger pieces. A lot of my work is large-scale pieces. Mm-hmm. So I like to bring maybe one client, tattoo him for like a few days in a row. It's not for the faint of heart, but I get them. At least 2 day sits, and we'll do something really big, really extravagant and big, and then try and collect some awards if I can.
Right.
There's a lot of good artists out there these days, so
yeah,
I'll leave it up to them.
Right. And so you see technology and people selling products and tools. Has the technology changed a lot since you started?
Most definitely. And that's another reason why I like going to conventions too, as well, is because you get to see all that new, innovative equipment that everybody's using. You get to hear personal reviews face to face from people being like, yeah, I tried it. I wasn't really too fond of it because of this, and this, And it's good because then we get a better idea of what's working and what's not working. And we're not wasting our money too buying stuff that doesn't work for us.
Right. So tell us some of the new technologies that...
Well, they've actually, we have cordless tattoo machines now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be plugged in. You don't have to be recharge them.
Plugged in, they recharge, they last for 7 or 8 hours of the tattooing process. And
wow.
Yeah, and I've heard good reviews. I haven't personally used them yet, but I think that in the near future that I'm going to be definitely going in that direction. Everything from the way that they make ink to the way they make needles, everything is all new age and innovative. All the inks are vegan-based inks now too as well, which weren't the case back in the day.
Oh, what are they? If they're non-vegan, what does that mean? They're using animal products?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I know that they use a lot of different types of like metals and stuff like that to make certain colors and stuff. So, I don't make that stuff myself, but I know that there's some major regulations that go along with making tattoo ink now that are being put into place in the last 10 years, and that was never the case before. So they have to make inks a certain way, and it has to be FDA approved.
Right.
Yeah. Rotary machines are definitely taking over the industry. There's, you used to go to a tattoo convention 10 years ago and you'd hear the buzzing of tattoo machines throughout the whole building. Yeah. Everybody's working away, but now it's like almost complete silence when you hear someone working because the machines are so quiet. It's almost strange.
Really?
You just hear that
different type of motor.
Different type of motor. It basically works like a rotary engine. It goes around and around. It's like a conventional, like an older tattoo machine. Actually, before the electromagnetic tattoo machines, they had rotary machines too as well. But the electromagnetic machines did a better job back then. But now they've brought that technology back. Swiss motors, all that kind of stuff, right? So it works really good. And then the application of the tattoo is a lot easier. The ink's going a lot easier. Less damage to the skin. Better heals. It stays looking good for a longer period of time, and you're able to catch that detail and stuff like that people are going wow over. Yeah, that makes grandma want to get a tattoo.
Right. Nice. Do you have a particular style of art?
Yeah.
So, like, if someone asks you to do something, are there certain things you won't do for either personal reasons, or it's just not your art style?
Well, there's several different genres of tattooing. Yeah. There's old school, new school. There's black and gray realism. There's colored realism. There's lettering. There's a lot of different types of styles that you can get. I specialize myself in black and gray realism, serialism, portraits, pet portraits, into like more just realistic style photos where I capture that photorealistic look. But I have 6 artists at my studio, and we all do a little something different. So if you came in wanting a certain style of tattoo, I'd make sure that I get you in with the right artist that's going to take care of you and make sure that you get exactly what you need or what you want.
Right. How long have you been at that location?
Almost 8 years now.
Yeah. And I guess you have some turnover. Is it the same group of guys, or are they...
I mean, artists are different people alone, and then you go into tattoo artists. Right. It's a whole different game. I've trained a few guys how to tattoo myself over the 10 years and stuff, and they went off to do other things, and some of them are tattooing still and doing really good for themselves, but no, it's not the same group of guys. It's definitely I've had a turnover of artists. They're hard to find good artists. I'm really happy with the guys that I have in my studio now, though, and a couple of them been with me for at least 3 years, or more.
What about drinking? So we always hear stories of people getting drunk and then waking up with a tattoo. There's the pain factor, right? It can be a little painful. Well, do you send someone away if they're clearly hammered? Yes.
We won't tattoo anyone under the influence.
Right. What if someone had a couple drinks and you didn't know?
I didn't know? Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to do whatever you need to do to cut the edge off, I can't say nothing. But if you're clearly drunk and you're slurring your words, then I don't even want to sit there and tattoo you, let alone tattoo you.
Right.
Because I don't drink myself, so.
Okay. Have you always not drank?
Yeah, I never really liked the taste of alcohol.
So. That's good. That's a blessing. Because I know a lot of people struggle with it, so.
Yeah, well.
If you don't even enjoy it, that's a good thing.
I'm really focused on what I'm doing and stuff like that, so that kind of stuff could probably hinder my process.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, tell us a little bit about your shop, the location. You told us at the beginning, but opening hours, how do people get in touch with you?
Dynamic Studio is the name of the studio. We're at 273 Bernard, right on Bernard, downtown Kelowna. Not too far from the water. You can see the water right from the windows. It's nice. We're open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 to 6. We do open other days by appointment only. There's 6 of us down there, and we could take care of anything, any style of tattoo at the studio.
Do you have a website or Instagram?
Yep, dynamictattoo.ca is our website, and Dynamic Tattoo CA is the Instagram page.
Great. Awesome. Now, who would you like to nominate to come on the show? It's anyone you enjoy listening to.
I would like to nominate Chrissy Zellman.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about Chrissy.
Chrissy is one of my really good friends, and she's also a business owner in Kelowna. She owns Bailey's Shine Shop. It's a detailing shop, and she is by far one of the hardest working women that I know. Yeah.
All right. That's great. Well, Ryan, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's great to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll tag you as soon as it gets posted.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Luke Mankus is a realtor. He loves what he does. We asked Luke if he had any regrets about moving here in 2011. And he always says, yeah, one regret. And that is, he didn't move here sooner. When Luke came here, he didn't know anyone. He didn't know the neighborhoods or anything or anyone besides his daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. So he knows what it's like. Now, he's an expert and has helped well over 100 single people, couples, families, and investors with their real estate needs in the Okanagan. If you're new to our beautiful city, Luke can help you get connected with great lawyers, dentists, carpenters, landscapers, swimming pool installers, you name it. And whether you're new to Kelowna or not, Luke knows real estate. He can help you find a great property, negotiate a good deal, and hold your hand all the way through the process until the day you get your shiny new set of keys. Luke is known as a no-pressure kind of guy. He's had clients where it took even a year or more to get them into a property. He just doesn't believe in rushing things. On the other hand, when you decide it's time to act, he's diligent and he'll work day and night until the job is done. Give Luke Mankus a call or a text message at any time. 778-215-4273. Again, that's 778-215-4273. 778-215-4273 to chat with Luke about real estate.